a tour in Jamaica, skydiving, no experience necessary.
What is that?
That is called a tandem jump skydive. Anybody heard of this one? You jump out the airplane with the instructor on your back.
You tried it?
Yeah, man, I tried it in Jamaica. My instructor was a Rastafarian. You know the Rasta man with the Bob Marley style hair, dreadlock and thing? We jumped out the plane, halfway down here, pull the cord! I pull the cord, nothing happened. And I'm coming toward Earth 900 miles an hour with a screaming Rastafarian. I pulled every cord I could get my hands on. By the time I found the right one, he only had one dreadlock left on his head. Brother looked like a Hare Krishna.
Were you scared?
Yeah, man, I'm scared. I don't mind dying, but I don't want to go to eternity with a Rastafarian strapped on my back. They have taken rows of seats off the airplane for more room in coach. We flew in on Alaska Airlines and we found the rows of seats. Yeah, the security, I was waiting to check in. The lady in front of me was at the counter. Girl behind the counter asked this woman, are you traveling with anything sharp? She looked at her husband and said, not even close. I was ready when it was my turn. She said, has a stranger given you anything to take with you? I said, I won't know until I get the test results. They lost my luggage.
They lose a lot of luggage.
I was in my luggage. Tell you, I don't like flying.
Why do you hate flying so much?
I don't like all the bouncing and the shaking, getting tossed around all over the place.
You mean the turbulence?
The baggage handlers. They beat the heck out of the suitcase, man. You don't see what goes on back there. You put it back in a conveyor belt. As soon as they get the thing in back, they got hammers out, working the wheels over, screwdrivers out, trying to pop the locks. They're trying on your clothes.
Really that bad?
Yeah, man.
Why don't you say something?
Because my voice was in first class drinking wine. Yes, I did today, but I went to the governor's mansion.
You did?
Yeah, you know they have in front of the governor's mansion?
What they have?
They have a totem pole that tells the story of the mosquito. Now, how perfect is that for a politician's house? A monument to a bloodsucker. With your in my life, man. When the last time you almost got me killed.
How did I almost get you?
You sent me out the woods wearing bells.
You're supposed to wear bells. That's what the sign said to do.
You believe everything the sign said? They had a sign on the trail, what to do in case you run into a bear. And the sign said, bears do not like to be surprised. So when you're in the woods, you should wear bells. Now correct me if if I'm wrong, folks, but isn't the ringing of bells the international signal for dinner is served? And if we come up here again, I figured out how we could strike it rich. You and me? Yeah, man. How's that? Well, every year they have a big dog sled race up here. And there is a huge cash prize. So I signed you up.
I don't know anything about driving a dog sled.
Who said anything about driving? You're pulling. With your silvery hair and steel blue eyes, in 2 weeks you'll be lead dog. To see the glacier. Did anybody else go to see the glacier? Isn't that exciting? Watching ice melt. Could have stayed home and defrosted the fridge. But then a hell of a lot cheaper.
P, and the mark of an excellent ventriloquist is the ability to say letter P without moving your lips. Right now we're going to give you a little demonstration. Watch our lips, make sure they don't move as we tell you the story of the two little snakes. Antonio?
There were two little snakes and they were hissing in their teeth. And after a while the mama snake called. She said, "What are you two little snakes doing?" They said, "We are hissing in the teeth." She said, "Well, don't hiss in our teeth. Go over to Mrs. Potts' teeth and hiss in it." So they did. They went to Mrs. Potts' teeth and they started to hiss in it. But after a while Mrs. Potts came out. She said, "What are you two little snakes doing?" They said, "We are hissing in your teeth." She said, "Well, don't hiss in my teeth. You got your own teeth to hiss in. Why don't you go home and hiss in it?" So they did. They went home and they started to hiss in their own teeth again. But after a while the mama snake came out. She said, "What are you two little snakes doing?" They said, "We are hissing in the teeth." She said, "I thought I told you to go to Mrs. Potts' teeth and hiss in it." They said, "We did. We went to Mrs. Potts' teeth and we were hissing in it." But after a while Mrs. Potts came out. She said, "What are you two little snakes doing?" They said, "We are hissing in your teeth." She said, "Well, don't hiss in my teeth. You got your own teeth to hiss in. Why don't you go home and hiss in it?" So we did. We came home and now we are hissing in our own teeth, Ma. And then Mama Snake said, "You know that beats everything. I knew that Mrs. Potts when she didn't have a teeth to hiss in."